Liara had always known fear. Even as a child, she could sense it lurking in the eyes of those around her. She was different, with her silver-blue skin and eyes that reflected the sky at dawn. The other children whispered when she passed, calling her strange, calling her weak. But none of that mattered. What mattered was survival. Her village, perched atop jagged cliffs on the planet Arendor, had once been proud and strong. But betrayal ran deeper than blood. On the morning it happened, the wind howled like a warning through the valley. Liara had been playing near the edge, collecting rare sky crystals that only grew on the cliffside. The crystals shimmered with colors that changed as sunlight hit them, and they were worth more than the monthly ration of food for a small family. She did not hear the footsteps behind her at first. When she turned, she saw the dark shapes of the council soldiers. They had been her neighbors, her teachers, people she had trusted. One of them, a tall figure with a scar across his face, pointed at her. "It is time," he said. "Send her where no one will find her." Before Liara could react, strong hands grabbed her arms. She struggled, kicking and screaming, but it was useless. They dragged her toward the cliff. The wind fought against her, whipping her hair across her face, but it was no match for the strength of betrayal. One soldier, sneering, pushed her. She tumbled over the edge. The fall should have ended her life. Below, jagged rocks awaited like hungry teeth, but fate had other plans. As she plummeted, a strange shadow moved. A creature with translucent wings and golden eyes emerged from the cliffside caves. It caught her in its talons midair and carried her safely to a hidden ledge far below. Liara landed with a thud on soft moss that covered the rocks. Her heart pounded in her chest and tears blurred her vision. She was alive. For now, survival was the only thing that mattered. The creature, which she would later name Zephyra, became her companion and protector. It was the beginning of a bond that would last years. Zephyra was intelligent, understanding her emotions and responding with gestures and soft hums. Liara learned to trust it completely. Together, they explored the hidden cliffs, finding caves, underground streams, and plants with strange properties that could heal or sustain them. Time passed differently in isolation. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and soon, years. Liara grew stronger. She learned to climb sheer rock faces with agility, to hunt small animals, and to gather edible plants that grew in the cracks of the cliffs. Her body became lean and powerful, her senses sharper than any human or alien child she had known. She also learned patience. Patience to watch the skies, to read the weather, to sense danger long before it arrived. She learned to listen to the whispers of the wind, which carried messages from distant parts of the cliffs. And she learned the greatest lesson of all: never trust blindly. Betrayal had almost killed her once, and she would not allow it again. One day, while exploring a hidden cave lined with crystals, Liara discovered a small, strange device half buried in the stones. It was human-made, unlike anything her people used. She pressed a button, and a soft, glowing hologram appeared. A human face smiled at her, a man she did not know. He spoke in a language she could barely understand, but the tone was gentle, kind, and encouraging. It was a message left behind, perhaps accidentally, from a human who had passed near her world years ago. She did not know who he was, but something about him stirred a memory deep inside her, a memory of hope, of another life that might exist beyond the cliffs and betrayal. She watched the message over and over, committing every detail to memory. Years passed, and Liara became more than a survivor. She became a strategist, using the cliffs and caves as her training ground. She practiced climbing, jumping, and moving silently. She observed birds and creatures, learning their habits, predicting their moves. She trained with weapons she found abandoned in old hidden human outposts: blasters, knives, and makeshift spears. Her mind sharpened too. She read the inscriptions on ancient cave walls, learning the history of her people and the mistakes that had led to the political purge. She realized that knowledge and intelligence were as important as strength. One day she uncovered a map etched into stone, a secret path through the cliffs that could take someone from the village to the outer valley undetected. It was dangerous, but it was also a key to understanding how to protect herself and, one day, to reclaim what was hers. Despite all the training and survival skills, loneliness was her constant companion. She spoke to Zephyra for hours, telling the creature about her fears, her anger, her hopes. And she thought often of the human in the hologram. Who was he? Why had he left a message? Could humans be trusted, or were they another kind of danger? The first sign that her solitude might end came on a quiet morning, when the wind carried an unfamiliar sound, a low hum of engines far above the cliffs. Liara climbed to the highest ledge, using the skills she had honed over 15 years. There in the sky she saw a human vessel descending, cutting through the atmosphere with precision. Her heart raced. The vessel was clearly manned, and judging by the markings, it was a diplomatic or humanitarian mission. She had never seen so many humans in one place. She watched them land near her people's village, moving with purpose and care. Liara's instincts screamed at her to hide. Humans were unpredictable. She had survived betrayal before. She would survive it again if needed. But something stopped her. Watching from the cliffs, she felt a strange familiarity. One of the humans moved differently from the others. Calm, deliberate, watching, helping. He reminded her of the man in the hologram, though she could not be sure. Something inside her told her that he was not a threat. The humans set up camp near the village, tending to injured aliens, distributing supplies and speaking with the elders. Liara observed quietly, learning their routines, noting their weapons, their strategies. She was ready to strike or defend if necessary, but for now she waited. As days passed, she noticed the calm human repeatedly entering areas where the local villagers had suffered most from neglect and violence. He treated injured aliens, fixed damaged shelters, and spoke gently to frightened children. Liara's curiosity grew. This was no ordinary human. He had compassion and intelligence, a combination she had rarely seen in any species. Finally, one evening, she decided to make her presence known. She descended from her hidden ledge, moving silently through the underbrush. Zafira flew beside her, a protective shadow. She approached the human while he was alone, repairing a broken water conduit near a cliffside stream. "Who's there?" the human called, turning quickly. His voice was calm but alert. Liara stepped forward cautiously, keeping her hands visible. Her silver-blue skin glimmered in the fading light. I am Liara," she said softly. The human froze, studying her with wide eyes. "Liara?" he echoed. "That name. I've heard it in old records. Are you the girl who disappeared?" Liara nodded slowly. 15 years ago. They tried to kill me. I survived." The human's expression softened. He extended a hand cautiously. "I am Elias Hunter. I don't know if you remember, but someone left a message for you." Years ago, Liara's heart skipped. Could it be him? The man from the hologram? She took a tentative step closer. You left the message?" Elias nodded. "I didn't know you saw it. I only hoped it would guide whoever survived." For the first time in 15 years, Liara felt something other than fear. She felt hope. She felt connection, and she realized that the cliffs, the betrayal, the years of survival, they had all led to this moment. She did not yet know what the future held. She did not know if she could trust Elias completely. But she knew one thing. Survival had prepared her for more than just hiding and running. Survival had prepared her to act, to protect and to reclaim her life. And now, after 15 years, the human who had unknowingly reached out to her in her darkest hour had returned. Liara stood on the cliff's edge, the wind whipping her hair, and she made a silent vow. She would watch. She would learn. And when the time came, she would step into the world she had been denied, and nothing would stop her. The sky darkened with the coming night, but Liara's resolve shone brighter than any star. She was no longer the scared girl pushed off a cliff. She was a survivor, a warrior, and perhaps, just perhaps, the key to changing her world forever. Liara had waited 15 years for this moment, and now that it was here, her heart beat like a drum in her chest. From the hidden cliffs, she watched Elias move among the villagers, helping them without prejudice, treating their injuries, and offering guidance with calm authority. Every action he took spoke of kindness, courage, and intelligence, qualities rare in both humans and aliens. She felt a strange mixture of curiosity and caution. Could she trust him? Could humans, who had always seemed so unpredictable, truly be allies? The next day, a messenger arrived from the village. A rival faction had been sighted moving toward their territory. They were merciless, known for raiding settlements, taking captives, and destroying everything in their path. The villagers panicked, not knowing where to hide or how to fight. Liara observed from above, Zafira circling overhead, ready to act. She could see the humans quickly organizing defenses, preparing shelters, and helping the villagers escape to safe zones. But one thing became painfully clear. The rival faction was faster, better armed, and more ruthless. Liara could not sit and watch. She descended carefully from the cliffs, keeping to the shadows. Zephyra followed silently, wings beating softly against the wind. She approached Elias while he was surveying the perimeter, noting weak points and devising strategies. "Who's there?" Elias asked, turning sharply, his hand instinctively moving toward his weapon. Liara stepped forward, hands raised to show she meant no harm. "I am Liara," she said calmly. I want to help." Elias's eyes widened in recognition. "Liara, you're alive, I didn't know." His voice trailed off, a mixture of awe and relief. "We need every advantage we can get. Can you fight?" "I can," she replied. Her tone was firm, confident. "And I know this terrain better than anyone. I can help protect the village and the people you are trying to save." Elias studied her carefully, weighing the risk. But something in her presence, the way she carried herself, the strength and intelligence in her gaze, convinced him. "Then we work together," he said. "There is no time to waste." Liara revealed secret paths through the cliffs and caves, showing Elias how to move troops and villagers safely while avoiding the main paths the enemy might use. Her knowledge of the terrain, honed over 15 years of isolation, was invaluable. With her guidance, the humans and villagers set up traps, barricades, and escape routes. When the rival faction finally attacked, Liara was at the forefront. Using her agility and the element of surprise, she led ambushes from the cliffs, striking quickly and disappearing before the enemy could retaliate. Zephyra swooped down from above, creating diversions and guiding fleeing villagers to safety. The enemy was bewildered, unable to anticipate the attacks of someone who seemed almost like a phantom of the cliffs. Elias fought alongside her, his precision and courage complementing her tactics. Together, they turned what could have been a massacre into a successful defense. Villagers cheered, humans nodded in respect, and Liara realized something she had never felt in years: hope. She had survived betrayal, isolation, and fear, but now she had allies. Now she had someone she could trust. After the battle, as the sun set behind the jagged cliffs, Liara and Elias sat atop a ridge, overlooking the village below. For the first time, they spoke freely, sharing stories of the past. Liara told him about her fall, the betrayal of her people, and the years she had spent in solitude. Elias listened, his expression filled with both sorrow and admiration. "You survived against impossible odds," he said finally. "Most would have given up. You are incredible, Liara." She shook her head, a small smile playing on her lips. "I survived because I had to. I had no choice. But I never forgot. The kindness you showed, even unknowingly, through your message. It kept me going." Elias's eyes softened. "I only hope I can help now, in person." Their bond deepened over the following days. Liara began to trust him more, seeing that his intentions were genuine. Together they helped the villagers rebuild, strengthening defenses and teaching survival techniques that combined human ingenuity with Liara's intimate knowledge of the cliffs. The villagers came to respect her, not only as a protector but as a leader, though she had not yet revealed her true heritage. One evening, while exploring an abandoned temple hidden in the cliffs, Liara stumbled upon an ancient chamber. The walls were adorned with intricate carvings depicting the history of her people, kings, queens, and warriors long forgotten. As she traced her fingers over the carvings, a shocking realization struck her. Among the depictions was a figure unmistakably hers, small and silver blue, just as she had been as a child. And beside the figure, a crown, shimmering with the same colors as the sky crystals she had once collected. Liara staggered back, her mind racing. She was not merely a survivor. She was royalty, the lost heir to her people's throne. The council that had betrayed her had not only tried to kill her, they had tried to erase her existence, to prevent her from claiming her rightful place. She ran to Elias, breathless and shaking. "Elias, I am..." I am the heir. They tried to kill me, erase me, but I survived. I am the princess of this land. Elias studied her, his respect and admiration deepening. Then it is more important than ever that we work together, he said. Your people need you, and we need to ensure that those who betrayed you never threaten anyone again. With his support, Liara began to assert herself among the villagers. She used her knowledge, skill, and intelligence to unite them. She showed them that strength was not just physical, it was in strategy, compassion, and courage. Slowly, the villagers rallied behind her, recognizing her as both a leader and protector. The rival faction, having retreated after their initial defeat, regrouped for a second assault. This time, Liara was ready. She had learned from past encounters, combining human tactics with her own intimate understanding of the cliffs. The battle was fierce, but her leadership was unshakable. Every move was calculated, every decision precise. The enemy was outmaneuvered at every turn. By the end, they were forced to surrender, realizing that this human-alien alliance was not to be underestimated. After the victory, Liara stood on the cliff where she had first been thrown all those years ago. The wind whipped her hair around her face, and Zephyra perched on her shoulder, a loyal companion through every trial. She looked down at the village, safe and thriving, and felt a sense of accomplishment that went beyond survival. She had not only survived betrayal, she had overcome it, grown stronger, and claimed her rightful place. Elias approached, standing beside her. You did it, Liara, he said softly. You protected them, and you've shown that courage and intelligence can overcome even the darkest betrayal. Liara smiled, her heart swelling with a mixture of pride and relief. We did it, Elias. I couldn't have done it alone. Your guidance, your trust, it made a difference. For the first time in her life, she allowed herself to imagine a future filled not with fear and isolation, but with hope, friendship, and the possibility of rebuilding her people's world. She realized that strength was not only in surviving, it was in the choices she made, the alliances she built, and the courage to act when it mattered most. As night fell, Liara and Elias stood together, looking out over the cliffs and the village below. Stars twinkled in the sky, reflecting the shimmer of her skin and the brilliance of the crystals that had once been her only companions. The past 15 years had been harsh, but they had prepared her for this moment. She was no longer a frightened child pushed off a cliff. She was a survivor, a warrior, a leader, and a princess. And beside her, a human who had unknowingly touched her life long ago had become a trusted ally, guiding her toward the destiny she had never thought possible. The wind carried the whispers of the cliffs, of ancient secrets and new beginnings, and Liara felt it all. The betrayal, the survival, the victories, and the hope. She had emerged stronger than anyone could have imagined. And she knew, deep in her heart, that this was only the beginning. Together, human and alien, they would shape a future where courage, compassion, and intelligence triumphed over fear, hatred, and betrayal.